never played in the freaking snow before, but I know one thing. We're going to make some snow aces by dominating the line of scrimmage.
Till the end. Brunson puts up a three. Bang! Bang! Jalen Ramsey hits the three. Keeps it home. Here comes Hubbard. Oh, he's thrown away like a rag towel. And he throws in the end zone. Caught for a touchdown.
This is the Mazz and Bad Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.
And we are back with another one after a week hiatus coming out of nowhere, a little impromptu action. Mazz and Bad Show coming back at you, season numero dos. Of course, I'm Brandon Mazz Marrazzo, joined by Charlito Baduini and producer. And fellas, how are we doing this fine Tuesday afternoon?
Monday.
Monday, is it?
It's Monday.
It is Monday.
Monday, June 30th.
Shit. Fellas, you know. The summer just cooks my brain a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing. Who lets me host this thing? I have no clue.
Too many
Chucky,
stogies,
take over
man.
whenever
Too
you
many
want
stogies.
to.
Yeah.
I had a stogie today. It was a good time. You know, fellas, the days are just bleeding together at this point. To be honest, look, I'm getting a nice little tan going on right now. Golfing a little bit. You know, I love summertime. Who doesn't love summertime?
I love summertime. I don't always love how hot it gets, but I do love me some summertime.
You know what's my favorite thing about the summer, Charlie?
Mm.
There is an NBA champion crowned in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shout out Shea and them boys, and thank God Indiana didn't continue to make me look like a fool as they have this entire playoff run. But more, I don't want to say more importantly than that, because that's obviously the cream of the crop, but a little more sexier action is the transaction window that is now open between the NBA of guys just flying left and right. Every time I feel like we hit the summer, there's just a crapshoot, you know, roulette, who's going to land where. And Chucky, for your money's worth, who is the biggest new face of a team? Or on a team, I shouldn't say face of a team. New face on a team.
Honestly, I feel like that's pretty easy to answer. You got to go Kevin Durant on the Phoenix Suns, on the Houston Rockets from the Phoenix Suns. Just in terms of what Houston was able to do to make that trade happen, not having to give up their premier young talent. You got rid of your worst player from the playoffs last year in Jalen Green. You literally swap him out for Kevin Durant. And frankly, if we're being honest, I think Houston wins that first round series last year against Golden State. You swap out KD for Jalen Green. Who knows what happens against Minnesota in the second round, but this Houston team goes from the number 2 seed in the West last year, and you add Kevin Durant. I mean, it's hard not to be excited about that. I know he's 37 years old. He's definitely not the player he once was. Definitely not the player who's going to single-handedly carry you to a Western Conference Finals or an NBA Finals for that matter. But just being able to have a guy who is you're able to add to your young core of Amen Thompson, Şengün, Tari Eason, Jabari. I think that's really huge for them. And down the stretch in playoff games when they need someone who needs to take the ball over and be a grown-up, you give it to Kevin Durant, who's still, I think, one of the best bucket getters in the league. That's got to be the biggest acquisition move trade for me. Has to be.
I don't disagree with the take. I love it. Hit me with the layup there. It's the obvious answer, right? I'm actually going to be a little controversy here. And just because of how open the East is, I absolutely love the acquisition that happened for the Orlando Magic. I love that Desmond Bane, a guy that I said should be a Golden State Warrior, a guy that is absolutely going to contribute to winning basketball just with the efficiency and the long ball, the defense that he brings. I think the Magic, especially looking at, unfortunately, what happened to Tyrese Halliburton, who went down in the finals. And like I said, I love that the Thunder got the job done and, slightly, being a hater, not wanting Indiana to win just because I counted them out. But I didn't want to see them win that way. But Halliburton going down, he's going to be out for the season. And then the Celtics just blow everything up. Kristaps Porzingis down in Atlanta. And then Jrue Holiday going across coast over to Portland. They get back Anthony Simons. I don't know if that's going to necessarily be enough for Boston to really solidify themselves as the number 1, especially with the Cavaliers just getting Lonzo Ball. But they're definitely going to be making a play. However, just looking at everything else that has transpired, of course, you got to worry about the Knicks. VJ Edgecombe just got drafted by the 76ers. We'll get to that. But I think Orlando, if they can stay healthy with the young core that they have, they are primed now with a big 3 of Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, And now with Desmond Bain, giving some outside support to those big fellas, I think the Magic legitimately can make a push. And don't be surprised if you see them in a top 4 seeding in the East this year.
So I don't disagree with you. And as an Eastern Conference basketball fan, I am absolutely concerned about the Orlando Magic as a threat to my New York Knicks. But one thing that I will push back on is I love Desmond Bain, the player. He's an underrated 3-point shooter in the league. He's up there in terms of if you need someone to knock down a shot, he's one of those guys who can get it for you. I still think it hinges on Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. They have to get better at knocking down threes themselves, because otherwise defenses are just going to key on Desmond Bain, and he's going to be left out there with 2 guys draped over him behind the 3-point line, and Franz and Paolo not able to knock down their threes. So if they can take a step in that direction of being better, consistent 3-point shooters, then yeah, Orlando's dangerous, really dangerous.
I will push back just a little bit on that, just in the fact that if they can get somebody to focus on that 3-ball outside, I think that will open up the lane more, particularly for Paolo. So I think there's a give and take. I mean, but like I said, there's still big teams that you got to worry about. Cavaliers are still looking better than them, even with the injury to Jason Tatum being out for the year. Boston still got to be up there. And of course, Indiana's taken the step back, and Philadelphia is definitely a giant question mark. There's still Detroit looming around too. So I just think that it's just gotten a little more open, and that this is something that I'm very enticed by. Not that Kevin Durant is not enticing to the Rockets, but the West is still the West, and no matter who you have on your roster, it is going to be a dogfight to the very top. So I just think just the state of the East is a little more intriguing for me in terms of now we could get some sleepers making a run and becoming primetime players. Maybe not the pinnacle players, but hey, Indiana just made a run being a lower seed, right? So you don't always have to be a 1 or 2 to make it to the grand finale. So we'll see what happens. But moving along here, fellas, where do you want to take it, Charlito?
Well, I would still say let's stick around with NBA here for a little bit, because there's still some other things we can touch on, such as Mazz, as you mentioned, the Celtics blowing it up. They were able to find a way to get off of those 2 massive contracts. They shed over $200 million in salary with the trades of Kristaps Porzingis to the Hawks and Drew Holiday to the Trailblazers.
And they get Anthony Simons as well.
And they get Anthony Simons back in that deal, who's on an expiring contract. So, I mean, I guess there's not much to talk on there. Celtics, obviously, as we knew, were going to take a step back in terms of competing and paying the salary tax, luxury tax. Portland, they get a veteran in the locker room who's going to help stabilize some things for those young guys. And then Atlanta, trying to capitalize on a weak Eastern Conference, trying to accumulate as much talent as possible with their new center. So,
Boston didn't have to do this. But I think once you saw how they just performed this postseason, and then particularly after Tatum went down, I thought at least somebody was going to step up and that they were going to be able to get it going. But they clearly just said there's no point of going that deep into the luxury tax right now if we don't feel that we're going all the way. Clearly, Kristaps hasn't been available the way that they wanted to. Giroux, we like you, but you're just way too expensive. So we're going to basically get a 1-year rental in Anthony Simons and see if we want him to stick around, or whether or not we just completely get out of that and work the retooling for when Tatum ends up getting better. Now, the interesting thing, Portland ain't doing nothing for me. They're still years away. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew Holiday ends up getting bought out down the line, right? Kristaps, though, Atlanta, that's the interesting thing. Again, because the East is open. But is it enough for Atlanta to really make the push, especially when this is a guy who, Anthony Davis has had the injury bug, and we always talked about it. I feel like Kristaps Porzingis has played less games than he has within the past 2 seasons, So, is this big name, big contract even going to be truly available for a team that's always just, in limbo?
The good thing about it is they can run a lot of pick and pops with him and Trae Young in that system. He doesn't have to be the physical big man that he was down in Boston, because they still got a couple of good guys down there in that front court down in Atlanta. If you can have Kristaps Porzingis just kind of play his perimeter game, set screens on the offensive end, and then on the defensive end, really just kind of be like a non-factor, because that's really not his game, I think this could work out, and he can stay relatively healthy with Atlanta.
And they also have an underrated young core, the Hawks. Risha Shea, who was the first overall pick last year, Dyson Daniels, who was a trade throw-in, who turned out to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He won Most Improved Player last year, even though I'll never forget you guys laughing at me for calling that one a couple months in advance. And Jalen Johnson, who I think he had some sort of season-ending injury midway through the year, but he was having a really strong season before he went down. So, they get all those guys back and healthy. Atlanta's, I wouldn't be shocked if they're a top 6 seed next year in the East. Not that that's saying a whole lot, but I think they got a shot to make some noise for sure.
Well, you know what? I like that you brought that up because speaking of, you said top seed in the East, right? Let's move over to the Cavs real quick. They just acquired a backup point guard, one that I'm very upset that the Los Angeles Lakers didn't bring back home. I'd love to see him healthy. Lonzo Ball going to be back in action, and clearly Cleveland's seeing some value there to, run with second units, I guess. And why not? I mean, this is a guy who, outside of scoring, does everything you want on a basketball court. I think this legitimately. It's not going to be the biggest factor for Cleveland getting over the hump, but I think it just gets them a little more closer to, staying on top.
And also, Mazz, kind of going back to the Kevin Durant trade a little bit, just to compare, not exactly because no one's saying Lonzo Ball is Kevin Durant, but or I shouldn't say that. The Cavaliers traded Isaac Okoro, who was their 6th overall pick like 3-4 years ago, and it's kind of the same thing where like you're literally trading the worst piece of your rotation from last year and swapping it out for a guy who's going to give you who's going to give you a positive impact. You know what I mean? Lonzo's probably about the same level defender, but he's also bringing what he has on offense as a playmaker to your team as well. So, I love that trade for the Cavs. It makes a whole lot of sense, and I wish my Knicks had checked in on Lonzo Ball as well.
Well, Chucky, you're looking at Russell Westbrook right now. We'll see if that ends up going through. No, you're not going to be that happy about it. I'm hearing rumors
with Chris Paul too.
Oh, so I was just going to get to that. He is reportedly wanting to be closer to family in LA, which gives me hope. I'll take a 1-year rental on a vet's minimum to run with the second unit, or even in the starting lineup and slide in Luka over to shooting guard. I don't know. I'm just speculating. And even if he's in the starting lineup, he's not going to play like major minutes. I get it. I have no clue. But that is a guy with that IQ that is definitely useful to a winning basketball program at any age, if you have the right pieces around him, and that means you need shooting, and more shooting.
If he goes to LA, I think he goes to the Clippers, though. No,
I mean, it would be a nice little homecoming, but
it's a homecoming. I feel like that's no offense to the Lakers. I feel like the Clippers are more primed to win right now with the roster that they got on paper. I think they're another point guard, maybe another shooter away from having a complete roster.
I don't disagree with you, but they did get to the same level in the playoffs, did they not?
Clippers made it game 7.
Same round.
Yeah, they were. Lakers were a higher seed. It's just
listen.
It's just a matter of roster construction. I think the Lakers just have more work to do.
I know we have more work to do for sure, but I think if you add Chris Paul in that, it gets you in a better position. But there's still, you need the center again. You need wing help. You got to figure out what you're doing with Austin Reeves' contract. Like we are
it's a mess.
Just in a state of.
Why would you want to go there to win a ring right now? It's a mess.
Because listen, hey, DeAndre Ayton's apparently linked with them, and I'm a little upset about that. But Charlie's been telling me, hey, any center's better than Jackson Hayes, and he's not wrong. You're right, and I think I do need a defensive big, but at this point, you kind of just need a body who can actually grab more than 3 rebounds in a playoff game, right? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, DeAndre Ayton's contributed to winning basketball before when he was with Phoenix, so who knows? Maybe if he has the playmakers around him, he gets being a third option within the offense. Maybe he feels a little more comfortable again, gets a little more of that swagger back, and I don't know, dude. I got to be honest with you. There's a lot of work to do with the Los Angeles Lakers.
You're talking to me about my team needing work. My God.
Hey, speaking of work.
4 first-round picks the Nets used in that draft? 5?
It was 5, yes.
5 first-round picks?
And are you didn't trade. I thought a giant trade package was coming with it. I mean, who acquires 5? Was it 5 first?
5 first.
5 first, and you don't go for a giant trade. Are you excited about anybody for the Nets at all?
I think Igor Denham, who they get drafted with the 8th overall pick, he looks solid. He's 6'8", athletic, and pass. He could be sort of like I don't want to say Magic Johnson, but like it's the closest parallel type of player comp that I can say. Like he's a pass first 6'8" point forward. Like it's cool. It's cool to have. It's fun, but what am I looking forward to? What is there? What is there? We were supposed to get Dylan Harper. Right? And that's not gonna happen. Dylan Harper's be playing with Wemby now. Crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely
with the Spurs
crazy.
looking good. Of course, I knew that Cooper Flag was heading over to Dallas as the #1 overall pick, and to make things even more exciting for the Mavs, I've heard LeBron James may or may not be linked there. Charlie, of course, sending over reports from respected reporters saying absolutely not happening, not much of a market going on there. And my question is, why the hell not? I mean, this is, no matter how you feel about LeBron James, whether you're a hater, whether you love him, there's no denying this is one of the greatest basketball players to play in ever. He's still putting up points. He's still contributing to good basketball, right? Like, and what a 1-year mercenary to go make a run, or even if you're just trying to dump like a bunch of salary and get out of some contracts, like he's on a 1-year maximum right now, So I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to go with.
I think it's just the deterrent of you don't know how much longer LeBron's going to be in the league for. So let's say you're the Knicks, for example. Are you giving up Karl Anthony Towns, who's turning 30 next year, for 1 year of LeBron James to chase a championship? I mean, some people might say yes, some people might say no. I kind of lean towards yeah, just because me and Kat don't always see eye to eye in terms of how he plays on the Knicks. But I don't know. It does make sense that teams aren't lining up at the door to the Lakers saying, here's 3 first-round picks and our all-star for 1 year of LeBron.
And like, don't get me wrong, I don't expect a king's ransom, but I do expect something decent. And like, if you're like the Knicks, maybe it's like, okay, you look at, maybe a Mikal Bridges situation, maybe so, pairing that with something like I could see, hey, that is a guy that 100% we bring in. Even just one season, like we're really chips to the center of the table. We are all in completely on it. I just figured that there would be a little more traction going on. Like, dude, I get that he's old, but he's still putting up better numbers than guys in their prime. Let's be honest, right? So I don't know. It's weird, but what a squad it would be if he could somehow find his way to Dallas with Kyrie, Anthony Davis, and Cooper Flag, huh? But I don't even know how that would structurally work. Trade me back Anthony Davis. I'll be completely fine with that just off the youth factor. And I wanted that as the original pairing with Luka anyway. But I don't know, man. I have no clue what to expect. Everybody is, I don't want to say in shambles, but there's some ludicrousness going, it's not even a word, going on throughout the league right now. It's just who is going to really step up. I mean, new owner groups popping up every day, sales of teams coming left
We
and
don't know
right.
where Giannis is going to go.
It's an earthquake at this point, fellas, and I'm here for it. I'm just enjoying wherever the flop's going to take us, and I'm just praying that the Lakers end up on the victorious side of everything.
So before we move off NBA, just a few quick hitters, things we didn't mention, some extensions. Naz Reid inked a 5-year, $125 million contract extension with the Timberwolves.
A+.
You thought that was too much, but I mean, he's an integral part of that team. They have freaking Naz Reid Day in Minnesota. You gotta bring him back.
I get that, but OKC just had, what was it, like Jalen Williams, not the actual good Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams that just smiles on the bench. That Jalen Williams, that Jalen Williams Day. Okay, everybody gets a day now if you're a professional athlete in a sports town. So like, I like Naz a lot. I think he's a good shooter, great plus defender. Maybe it's just my problem with the way contracts are going now. I just feel like we're just paying these guys crazy, exorbitant amounts of money just to be like role players, and like maybe that's just it. But I like Naz. I think he's a solid piece to Minnesota, and Minnesota is a championship contention right now. So they gotta do everything to keep that core of him, Ant, Gobert together. Because if they are together and they're healthy, I think right now, outside of maybe Denver and OKC, there's not many teams in the West that are competing with Minnesota right now.
tell you right now, I wish I gave him 5 years, 125 million. That seems cheap to me. I would love to make him a starter. He's a guy that contributes on defense, can get some block shots, can get hot in an instant, and is one of the best 3-point shooters for big fellas that you're gonna see, especially in the fourth quarter at times, right? So, like, it's with money constantly going up, you're gonna have to pay some of these guys and give not only pay role players, but potentially give role players bigger roles and see where they fit into the lineup with the new CBA. And that's a guy that I want to invest stock in the future in, right? I mean, athletic, big, no slouch, it's still like right at like the cusp of like the prime of his career. Like he's young as hell, you know? So that is to me an A+ deal. Keep him moving, Chucky.
Yeah, and a fantastic 3-point shooter as well. The true definition of a stretch big. The Toronto Raptors parted ways with the best executive they've ever had in their franchise history. The Raptors and Masai Ujiri parted ways after the draft last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't they take a Senge? Or did the Bulls take a Senge?
I don't know for sure. I just know that they let him run the draft, and then they said, all right, goodbye.
Imagine just being like, hey, buddy, just do us one quick favor. We have no clue what the hell we're doing. Just draft us something. I think, didn't Johnny Broom go in the second round with them?
No, Johnny Broom went to the
Out of Auburn?
Sixers.
That was it. My bad. What is going on there? I mean, is there something lined up? Expansion franchise making a play? Anybody? Huh?
I'm sure he will get another job. He will.
They drafted Colin Murray Boyles from South Carolina, who's actually a very good player. I like him a lot. But nah,
Big fan?
I mean, they won him a championship. He made some bold moves, went out and got Kawhi in a blockbuster deal. I mean, developed Scotty Barnes. I mean, even though Scotty had a down year this year, you're making building blocks. You're taking steps towards the future if you are Toronto because, you know, it was rough there for a few seasons, but he's kind of steered the ship back towards to where they need to be. So it's kind of weird that they kind of just let him go and like you said, Charlie, just kind of out of nowhere after the draft. And I don't know, maybe there's some internal tension, a little bit of power struggles at the top. Sometimes things tend to go that way when in professional sports front offices. So.
Well, they were never preparing for Kawhi Leonard to really leave, right? And then they had to pivot. Like, they were hoping, like, yo, we just won a championship. Why wouldn't you want to, re-up here after? Like, him not coming back, it changed everything. Now, there's a debate that maybe it went in their favor, especially with the injury history, but you have no clue how things would have panned out, right? Like, I mean, everything's a butterfly effect from one instance, and the course of history could change depending. You have no clue, right? We have educated guesses, but ever since then, it was hard really to get big name attraction without making trades to get people in Toronto. I think it's a great city. I've never been to it, but I've heard awesome things. Vince Carter talks about it like it's the best place he's ever been to, but that's probably because he celebrated like a king there, right? But if you're a executive of that caliber, where it's like, I know my worth, I can definitely go test. I can go wherever the hell I want, especially who wouldn't. Like I just speculated, if it is expansion franchise, you not only have the control, you get the control from the very start, and everything is formed in your image. I can see him being enticed by that, but who knows what's really the reasoning is and what's not. Maybe the guy just wants to take a step back and take a break. We have no clue. However, anything that has to do with conspiracy for expansion franchises, I'm here for, fellas.
I totally should have brought this up when we were talking about Naz Reid just now, but I'm literally just scrolling through Shams Charania's Twitter and just pointing out the stuff that sticks out to me. But Julius Randle signed a 3-year, $100 million contract extension with the Timberwolves. So Naz Reid and Julius Randle locked up, brought back into Minnesota. It's a good deal. I mean, that's like what, $33.3 million a year. That's like really not that much money in the grand scheme of it.
It was like an A- to me.
He was their best outside of. I'll even throw it. Him and Ant were 1A, 1B in this playoff run. It wasn't really like Ant was the runaway best playoff performer. Julius Randle was definitely probably even better than Ant at times throughout that playoff run. So I would definitely consider him a long-term option at that power forward position.
A lot of high highs and a lot of low lows, but again, like it's not a free agent destination. Like there's really no reason to want to play in Minnesota unless you're that enticed by the group of guys that are there already, but like no disrespect to like the city, it's not like a hotspot destination. So when you have guys that are willing to re-up, especially for a contract that's pretty team friendly, you got to go in on that. And like shout out Julius Randle, that's a loyal guy wherever he's at. If you take care of Julius, he'll do his best to take care of you for the most part. But let's just call it what it is. He is a second guy. He's never going to be the guy on a team. You want Julius as like your third best guy for being 100% brutally honest, but he can contribute to winning situations,
Yeah, absolutely can contribute to winning situations. I don't know. I wouldn't call him an enforcer, but he's like a tough guy who's like, someone gets in your teammate's face, he's gonna step up and be like, "Yo, back off, man." I saw that for years when he was with the Knicks. So yeah, I love that for Minnesota. Love that for Julius. Glad he got his bag.
Oh, Mazz, I know you said you
And
wanted to
then-
talk about Ace Bailey, right?
Yeah, you want to talk about the draft, dude? I got problems. I got problems right now with the young fellow whose height I've been lied to about for how long. I mean, it's at Rutgers reported like somewhere between 6'11" and 7 foot. Everybody lies about their height. I get it, but then it comes out he's 6'7". That was strike number one with me. But still athletic, still can play on the wing, still definitely a star. But then all of a sudden he's canceling workouts with the 76ers, doesn't want to go there. Then it's reported doesn't even want to be with the Utah Jazz. Apparently wants to be somewhere that is so bad that he could be like the established star. I'm sure he wish he was in like a Brooklyn situation. Sorry, Ant. But like you end up getting drafted.
Ace Bailey in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess there can be like a positive to, oh, that's a good mindset. He really wants to go there and be the foundation of it. But for me, dude, that's some prima donna activity. Like it is an honor to be drafted by any organization to make that kind of money. So to cancel workouts and try to force yourself, like I'm never an advocate for trying to force yourself to a team like that. You get to do that when you prove that you belong in the league after your rookie contract and go test like your free agency market, right? Like after like a couple years of being established, like you're a young pup, you're just here. Like, what are we doing trying to dictate where we're at? And especially like, I know the 76ers is not a great place in terms of like what's been going on with playoff runs and the rebuild process, right? And I get it, Joel Embiid's there, but what better way to prove how dominant you are than taking the mantle right from a guy like Joel Embiid, contributing with a Tyrese Maxey and giving the 76ers something to look forward to of, hey, this is the new guard. We don't have to keep on paying these aged guys that can't stay healthy like Paul George and like Embiid. Like, why wouldn't you want to be there? Like, I'm not even a 76ers guy and you got me advocating. Like, it just makes no sense. And then you're going over to Utah, which you supposedly didn't want to be there. But, like, again, not necessarily going to be the guy unless you take being the guy from Lauri Markkanen, right? I mean, they're definitely looking to go rebuild. Jordan Clarkson just got bought out, like, so they're trying to still figure themselves out, but there's talent all around, no matter where you're at. Dude, go compete. That's like, yes, they're your teammates. You're supposed to be competing with them to try to win, but you're also competing against them to who gets the fattest contract, the most touches, and who's going to be the face of the franchise. It just all screams soft to me. Like, everybody's trying to hit like a silver lining on it. I don't like that stuff, man. You go where you get drafted, you say thank you, and then you tell everybody, get the hell out of my way because I'm coming for that number one spot on the team. It just seems soft to me. I got problems.
I think what the Philly situation boiled down to was he wasn't interested in being the fourth banana on a team that, Joel Embiid's option number one, Tyrese Maxey option number two, and then Paul George, as much as, people say he's washed, he's going to be back next year with his contract that pays him a lot of money. He's going to be the third option. And then you could even throw like a Jared McCain in there or a Quentin Grimes who could be back for the Sixers. So, I mean, I get from that sense he didn't want to be in Philly for, but I like your point, Mazz. Yeah, like you have the ability here to come in and ingratiate yourself as a six man to start off, potentially off the bench, and then maybe one of these days flesh yourself into being in that starting lineup, playing in a backcourt with Tyrese Maxey. I don't know. Utah, he has a chance to. I think he'll eventually come around to Utah. It's literally just the location. I think that bothers him, but he has a chance to be the second option there off the bat. So I think he'll eventually show up and play some games there.
Think about this, right? Think about this. Donovan Clingan, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, for the Portland Trailblazers, came in, got a shot, and literally DeAndre Ayton is now bought out, wasn't even getting starting minutes. Like, he got outbeat by this kid, right? So it's like, it's not like just because a guy has a fatter contract to you that you're not going to, or more established names, that you're not going to have a chance to go compete. Like, the NBA is constantly evolving, more so than I'd say any other franchise, just because of the limited spots on the rosters, guys aging out, and there's just a constant rotation of guys moving in and out of it, right? And there's definitely, that's like the number one spot where you can, league, I should say, where you have a shot to be a young guy and become up and coming and make a name for yourself, especially because it is a game where if you have the ball and you have a high efficiency rating or a high success, they're going to keep giving it to you because that's just how the math works on it. And it's not like Ace Bailey's never going to see a court. It's just what you do while you're on said court, what you do in practice. I feel like it's just all on him. Like, and also I'm questioning, did you really hate being in South Jersey that much when you were playing with Rutgers? Like, come on.
I also think NIL definitely plays a huge factor in this now. I feel like now collegiate players, after making money for a few seasons, they're a little bit more like, I got money now. I got a bag. I can kind of choose where I want to go now. I don't have to like accept every single opportunity that comes to me in the draft. I think you're going to see this a lot more now in the NBA draft in coming seasons. Now that players are making a bag in college, they don't feel like they need to just run at the first opportunity that they get when they get drafted. They're going to be discontent. They're going to try to force their way into certain situations. I think you're starting to see it in football as well as basketball, in these high money profile sports. Guys are going to be doing type of stuff like this a lot now. I mean, unless you're like the consensus number one overall pick, like I feel like you shouldn't try to do it. Like if you're going to be the number one pick, you go get number one overall pick money. But like if you're a top 3 pick, if you want to go into a better situation that works for your capabilities, maybe not declining workouts, but like if you want to just do that, I don't see a problem with it. It's on the team at the end of the day.
No, I get that, but like if that's the case, like stay in college. He still has eligibility. Go play overseas. Like you're coming into the Premier League, which once you play in opens up a ton of doors, even if it's only for one season, having success or not even success, just being there for one season. Like it opens up opportunities in the basketball world. You go play street ball, go play in China, go play over in Europe, what have you. But you still have to enter the draft pool. Even if you go to the G League, if you want to play on like a bigger team, you still have to basically enter the draft pool, and teams have like the rights to come in because this is what happens. It's an exclusive club. And like, yeah, they have more control at the collegiate level, but you don't have control when you come in as a rookie into the NBA. And I'm sorry, that's how it should be. I'm normally pro player, but this is one instance where I think teams definitely should have the say on where newcomers are coming into, because we're essentially allowing you to come into the exclusive fraternity, make more money than you ever seen in your damn life, if you can get that next contract. Like, I'm sorry, there's no NIL deal out there that is going to compete with a max contract of the NBA if you get to that level just off of the TV money, right?
Yeah,
now, not everybody can be a max contract.
The way you get a max contract is by having a great first contract. So, like Charlie was saying, if you want to be the 5th option in Philadelphia, your max contract is the difference between what?
If
$150 million
in Philadelphia, it's your fault for being the 5th option. You're the 3rd overall pick with 2 agent stars there. Yes, Tyrese Maxey's gonna ball out, but who says that you can't ball out too? It's not like you're not getting touches. You might not get the touches off the rip, but that's literally what you have. Summer League and just summer workouts to get ready for, and preseason. That's on you to make an impact right off the rip. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Right? Right. So stop being afraid of the competition. Get the hell out there. Because what are you basically saying with that? Like, yeah, I think I deserve a contract, but I'm afraid to compete with guys that are already well established, and I want to just get my points just by having, Michael Carter Williams possessions just in bulk is what I'm saying.
Wants to be. That's what he wants to be. I feel like that's not on us to be here.
For that, and I got a problem with that. No, I got a problem with that. All right, because if Man, if I'm giving the smoke to LeBron James, you think I'm not going to give the smoke to that? Are you kidding me? Like a rookie? Are you kidding me? Of course I'm going to call that out. Of course I got a problem with it. And it was the biggest news from the draft for my money's worth because there was no giant trade that I absolutely thought was coming. But, franchises like Brooklyn didn't want to pull the trigger and just decided we're going with young talent. And everybody else just basically played the safe option. Yes, that was absolutely a shot at you. I love you. But so like this is the biggest thing from the draft, and this is what we have to talk about. And I got a damn problem with it because he should be better. He should have been the 3rd overall pick. He should be a guy that we should be talking about as an all-star down the line. But guess what? If he keeps it up like this, I don't know if we're gonna get there.
No disagreement from me. Mazz, I got some breaking Laker news for you. You want to hear it?
Oh, do I?
The Los Angeles Lakers have agreed to a 2-year, $12 million deal with Jake LaRavia, formerly Jake LaRavia, formerly of
Who
the
the hell is
Sacramento.
this guy?
This is a 6'8" power forward who shoots over 40% from 3.
Okay, we got
That's
a stretch
a Brooklyn net type of deal right there, baby.
Jake LaRavia.
Yeah, he played for Memphis and Sacramento last year.
Jake LaRavia.
I mean, you're paying $6
Jake
million.
LaRavia.
It's not like you're paying a lot.
As long as you know what my problem is, I love the percentage that you hit me with. Charlie, what's the one thing that I say happens to people when they come to LA?
They forget how to shoot.
They forget how to shoot. So I'm a little worried about it, but you know what? It's on the what it is. But when you said breaking news, you absolutely got me there. I was like, did we just get DeAndre Ayton for $12 million? I'll be happy about that. I mean, that's right now. Why not? He just got bought out. Anything could happen. Maybe he was happy with that he's got. And you hit me with Jake friggin' LaRavia. Who the hell is that guy? You know how much 2K I played? I've never even come across that name.
That sounds like
pretty...
a vet minimum guy that you could put on your roster. In
Man,
my GM.
that sounds like some dweeb in the analytics department just pulled something, his efficiency is absolutely off the charts until he comes and plays in front of a crowd like Los Angeles, messes up one time, they let him hear about it, and then he never recovers, and then we never even hear about this guy, and he's just taking up $6 million friggin' dollars on the goddamn
Jake
team
LaRavia,
that we probably could have paid to an actual friggin' third star.
MVP.
God fucking damn it, what are we doing?
Jake LaRavia, Finals MVP 2026.
Oh, yeah, Finals MVP 2026. Yeah, 100%. And Anthony Cafone is going to win the friggin' dunk contest that year, too.
The odds on that plus $1 million.
Yeah, dude,
Put
billion.
a dollar on it.
Billion.
Billion. Let's put a dollar on it.
Billion. Are you kidding me? I hate you so much. Breaking news. Breaking news. We took Dorian Finney-Smith, $6 million. Let that walk out the door. Just signs with the Dallas Mavericks. I don't even get defense. I'm supposed to be getting 3-point shooting. We'll see what happens. Imagine I love the kid. How awesome would that be?
You might.
This is how I feel. This is a way watered down version than when the Knicks drafted Kristaps Porzingis, and you're just like, who in the hell is that? Why would we do that? What are we wasting money on and equity here for? But maybe it will work out. But that's not the move that I'm looking for, buddy. That's not the move. And you know what? Speaking of the moves that I'm not... What the hell? I'm going to transition right here to the NFL for us. What the hell are the Pittsburgh Steelers doing, anybody? Anybody have any idea what the Pittsburgh Steelers got going on right now? They don't know what the F they're doing, as our president just said over the week. Oh, this guy just keeps giving memes and memes. But that's how I feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I mean, you trade away Minka Fitzpatrick, you get back old man Jalen Ramsey, and we got a tight end to go with it who may or may not be able to integrate himself in with Aaron Rodgers on whether or not that's going to be, a main passing weapon. Who was that? Jonnu Smith, they got back with it too. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing?
What is the Pittsburgh Steelers' plan? Are they trying to win? Are they trying to shed cap? Or are they trying to build a new core and get guys out of it? There's no plan.
Yes. No, that's it. That's it. It's all of those things without any structure whatsoever. Charlie, what are you thinking about this one, buddy?
I mean, first reaction to it this morning was it kind of felt like an NBA trade almost, because you don't normally see the player for player swaps with the, here I'll throw in an extra guy just to sweeten the deal for you. Yeah, I feel like the Steelers got the short end of the stick in terms of Fitzpatrick and Ramsey, just surface level, because I know they play different positions, but Jalen Ramsey is on the wrong side of 30. He's been more hurt than he ever was in his career, and he's just on the decline. Meanwhile, Minka Fitzpatrick, well, he's not young by any means. I think he's 28, 29, and he was a leader for you these last few years when you acquired him from the Miami Dolphins, and now he's going back to the team that drafted him, which is hilarious. But no, I think the Steelers are trying to go all in. I mean, they have to be because we have never seen a Mike Tomlin team make moves like this in an offseason. Like we said, the Aaron Rodgers acquisition, signing Darius Slay to a one-year deal, making the trade for DK Metcalf, giving up a first-round pick, and then signing him to a massive extension. And then, of course, acquiring Jalen Ramsey. It almost kind of feels like maybe this is possibly Mike Tomlin's last chance at winning a Super Bowl before he gets pushed out of Pittsburgh. Is that a possibility here?
So glad you just said that because that's literally where I'm just sitting here. I'm just like, why are you making these moves? And they feel desperate. They feel like we need big impact right this second. Nothing else matters but this season. And I think the only thing that it comes down to is that's literally it. It's the old guard. Tomlin might be out. Is it Omar Khan? I believe is their GM,
yeah.
right? He might be on the hot seat as well, where it's like, hey, we better make a splash because this is our last shot. Otherwise, you guys have the green light to bring in contracts for the most part, as long as they're looking like short-term rentals. Because if this doesn't work out with the short leash that you're already hanging on, you guys are going to be out the door, and we're going to be looking rebuild. So like do what you want as long as it doesn't put us in cap space hell for the previous years coming up. And thank you for DK Metcalf, who we'll be enjoying for the next at minimum 3 years.
I think less. He's 31 for a corner. That is old. Like it's the end of your career pretty much for most corners in the NFL. And like Charlie said, his body's been breaking down. He's been dealing with some nagging injuries over the last couple of seasons. I personally think Minka was clashing. There's probably something in the locker room going on. You've seen a few guys now. Pickens just got traded early in the offseason due to not meshing with the environment. I think Minka was probably... Why else would you deal your 28-year-old prime free safety, who's been one of the best free safeties in football over the last 4 or 5 seasons, for a cornerback who's 31? Granted, Jalen Ramsey at his peak was the best cornerback in the NFL, no question. But he's not that guy anymore. He's not. You saw it last year when he played in Miami. He was barely on the field, and when he was, they were targeting him a lot, and he was getting beaten coverage a lot. So I don't see the vision here. I get you want to have some big names. I get you got DK, now you got Aaron Rodgers. These are guys that if you made a football team 3 seasons ago, this would be looking like freaking monsters out on the gridiron. I don't see the vision in Pittsburgh. And as a Ravens fan, I'm looking around this division right now in the AFC North, and this is lunch meat. Like you talk about this, this Pittsburgh team, what they've been doing, all this dysfunction. You look at the Cincinnati potentially trading away Trey Hendrickson and not signing their first-round pick, and then all that dysfunction over there. You look at Cleveland still having to pay Deshaun Watson and having 5 quarterbacks on their roster. I'm looking at the AFC North right now. This is lunch meat. This is going to be so easy. Give me 14 wins for them this year.
Listen, I just want you to know right now you're completely wrong about your division going on there. The AFC North. I mean, Joe Burrow's a company man. He got his millions. He said he's not even blaming them for the Trey Hendrickson holdout right now. He said Cincinnati's got a plan. I'm rocking with it. We're running things back. It is what it is. So he's going to be looking to do what they need him to do. Of course, I'm being sarcastic here. And if that wasn't enough for you, I got an even bigger story as to why the Cleveland Browns are going to be good, because Deshaun Watson is officially taking Shedeur Sanders under his wing, because that's going to go well. That's what you needed for Cleveland. This entire division.
Well, Shedor's driving 100 miles an hour down the highway and getting speeding tickets now. What's going on with that?
Listen, this entire division, outside of one franchise, is not only a question mark, it is a question mark thrown into the abyss, and you don't even know if there's going to be any sort of lifeline to save them. It's just, I don't know, dude. I don't know what's going on here.
I'd give the Bengals a solid chance.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah, okay.
and you're telling me you didn't sweat either of those two games last year?
Oh
Bengals
no, yeah,
Ravens
they're
that
going to
went
be
to
offensive
overtime.
shootouts, but I still think Baltimore wins the division handedly. You think Cincinnati's winning 13 games this year?
Okay, no.
Yeah, so like, sure, they can win. They can split the series with Cincinnati all they want.
if
I
you don't
still
make
think
those
Baltimore
defensive
wins all
signings.
those other games. Defense wins championships.
I
The
can see-
Ravens realistically have, on paper, a top 3 defense in the NFL right now. Could we agree to that?
Yeah, top 2, not 2.
You say 1? You say 1?
Probably one. Who else you got? San Fran?
San
Philly?
Fran's blown up. They're blown up now.
Yeah.
Funk is
Philly-
gone.
Philly.
Exactly.
Philly. That might
Maybe
be it.
Philly.
And then
Maybe
Philly
Philly.
and Denver is the top 3, I'd say.
Honestly, the Giants' front 7 is pretty good. I'll be honest. They got a
You
pretty
know
good
what's-
front 7.
You know what's not really good?
What?
The top 7 weapons coming for the Giants this year on offense outside of one wide receiver. So you don't even have to worry about that.
Did you hear that they're
You
trying to
know?
re-sign
So you-
OBJ? I don't know. Homecoming. Well, homecoming. Why not?
Oh
He
yeah,
didn't
because
play-
it went,
he
it
didn't
went
play
so
football
great
last
last
year.
time. It went so great last time he was there. The guy lost a fight to the kicking net.
He proposed to it afterwards.
Yeah,
they made
sure,
up. They made
it all better.
amends.
Clown show, clown show, clown show. I don't
All
know.
Um,
right, and breaking news, give me a reaction. D'Angelo Russell, no longer a Brooklyn Net. He heads to Dallas on a 2-year deal.
Whenever D'Lo's on the Nets, no matter how terrible we are, it was a great time. It's just nostalgic. It's fun. We used to dance on the sidelines. We used to have our good times. So for me, I knew D'Lo wasn't.
Hold on.
Forget D'Angelo Russell, because I have actual breaking news for you. Mr. Anthony Cafone, breaking news for you. The Denver Nuggets are trading Michael Porter Jr. and an unprotected 2032 first-round pick to the Brooklyn Nets for Cam Johnson.
What are we doing? We were talking about the Nets getting like 4 first-round picks for Cam Johnson. And we're getting Michael Porter Jr. and a first-round pick in
Decade.
7 years?
Yeah,
I hate
it's
this
an
franchise,
it's
bro.
for an eighth
Fire
grader
Sean
right
Marks.
now.
Fire Sean Marks, please. Like, I give this man the benefit of the doubt for so long. I've given him the benefit of the doubt, but I can't defend this anymore. You use 5 first-round picks in the draft instead of trading for something, and then you freaking want to go out and trade for Michael Porter Jr., the guy with known laziness, with known character issues, trading one of your better assets that you have, that you were supposed to get 4 firsts for potentially.
Don't forget an injury history that's as long as it goes. You know,
Yeah, this is
shoulder,
ridiculous, dude.
back.
You
know.
can't tell me that the NBA just wants the Nets to fail at this point. They probably
no,
just
the
call
Nets-
them. They just call them and go, get rid of Cam Johnson right now, or we defunct your franchise. That's probably what the NBA is saying to them, because there's no way that Sean Marks is making these deals without just like any opposition to anybody within the organization. There's no way.
No, they see what they want them to do is to deplete anything that they have to pay and keep that roster number low. So this way that they can turn around and give everything liberty as they should. Because I'm a fan of the liberty, So
Well,
you know,
Cam
one
Johnson was the
franchise
only
winning,
big
the other one
contract on our
not.
books, realistically.
Can you even name the starting 5 right now potentially for the Nets, or is it just that much
It's going to
disarray?
be Igor Denim, Nick Claxton.
Nah, he's on his way out. They're getting traded. He'll be traded
He
before.
might get
before
traded,
October comes.
honestly, before the end
He's
of the
getting
night.
traded.
He might. It'll probably be like Igor Denim, the new guy Traore they got from France. Saraf, maybe, the guy from Israel that they just drafted. Trendon Watford.
Oh!
I can see maybe Trendon Watford making the starting 5, and Cam Thomas. There we go.
You brought back
That's it.
Zaire Williams.
Zaire Williams, Cam Thomas. There it is. That's our starting 5. That's the worst starting 5. So this is my thought process. They have their first round pick next year. That's the last first-round pick that they're going to have for another half decade. So they're going to absolutely tank again. But here's the thing. The NBA draft lottery showed last year that they're not going to get anything. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens. So if the Nets go 22-10, they might as well just freaking give them the 8th pick again because it's just not going to work out. I hate being a fan of this team. I don't want to do it anymore. It's just torture. It's just, like, that's why I don't enjoy basketball, man. I don't enjoy watching basketball because my team just stinks and they just do everything in their power to continue to stink. End of story.
If you're willing, we will allow you to throw names into a hat like we did Khalil years ago to pick a new team. He doesn't even want to hear it. He wants no part of it. Chucky, if you could pick a team for Ant outside of the Knicks, outside of being biased, who would you like to see him be a fan of the franchise?
You see this?
And it's time, yeah.
Throw it on the ground. And I'm going to stomp
And I think it's time.
I'm going to stomp on it too. Trash.
It's time for you. It's time for you to switch your allegiances
I think
it is.
so.
We're
and
allowing
become a San Antonio Spurs fan.
it.
Stay with the black and
You
white.
got, stick with the black and white, and you got Wembanyama. He's on his way up. I mean, it is a little late on the bandwagon. I'm sure a lot of guys switched up when Wemby was drafted.
Got a
but-
little problem with that. They're looking a little too powerful for me. It needs to be somebody, just a little bit different. A little
All
like
right.
maybe they could be on the up and coming. I'll let you be a Magic fan if.
I was just about to say you should join Ryan White and be a Orlando Magic fan.
Yeah, like somebody that's gotta be. You want to be a Detroit fan? You can be a Detroit fan. Like, I mean, like I think it's time we put names in a hat and we pick one because I think the Brooklyn Nets are legitimately going to.
They might be a
out.
defunct franchise in 10 years. They might just be like sold. They might not exist in 10 years.
Come back to Jersey, baby.
You know what? Fine. Please. They were better in Jersey.
Lord knows that's true.
Lord knows they was.
Yeah.
They made 2 finals. Jason Kidd, man.
Right. Sometimes you just gotta shut it down and call it. That's it. And speaking of shutting it down, John Jones has called it a career.
Thank God.
The greatest fighter of all time said, "No, I'm not interested in young up and comers. If you're gonna get me out there with a chance to damage my legacy, a chance to actually get damaged, I want super fights that are going to enhance the legacy that is already the greatest legacy in the history of mixed martial arts." But no Tom Aspinall fight, unfortunately.
Good. Glad he's gone. Held up the entire heavyweight division for 2 years. He won the belt in
2 years.
2023 from Cyril Gane, and then decided I'm not gonna fight Tom Aspinall. I'm gonna fight 40-year-old Stipe.
No,
I'm gonna
I
fight
don't think
40-year-old
that's holding it up
Stipe.
for 2 years. Dude,
40-year-old
Stipe's
Stipe
the
I'm gonna
greatest-
fight who hasn't fought in 2 years after getting flatlined
greatest
by
heavyweight of
Francis
all time.
Ngannou in his last fight. That's who we're gonna. That's who I'm gonna have my first title defense against. That's not a title defense. It's not. Put an asterisk next to the entire John Jones heavyweight reign. I'll give him his credit as a light heavyweight from when he broke into the UFC to when he fought Dominic Reyes. Maybe Reyes deserved that fight, but regardless, Jones got the decision. John Jones in that time period was the best MMA fighter in the world and probably one of the best of all time. He's still a top 5 fighter of all time. No question.
Greatest fighter of all time.
He ain't no GOAT. He ain't no GOAT.
How are you not?
He
He's a
ain't no
go.
goat.
You're insane for this.
Give me
You're
GSP.
insane.
Give me Islam Makhachev.
Oh my god.
Give me Islam Makhachev.
stop.
Look at what Islam's been
Jesus
doing, bro.
Christ.
Look at
Buddy.
27-1 is Islam Makhachev. Same record as John Jones. And he's dominated lightweight, most lightweight defenses of all time in one of the hardest divisions in MMA. Give me Islam
Yeah, but
Makhachev over him.
Lyoto Machida, Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic, Gustafsson. The list goes on. We're talking murderers.
He also cheated in
has
all
the
those fights.
best-
Yeah, I
Oh,
poked
listen,
and
everybody
he,
was-
and he freaking 12-6 elbowed. He cheated in those fights.
Cheated.
He
I thought
did.
he cheated. Okay.
He did.
Okay.
He cheated in those
He cheated.
fights. I'm
You don't
listen.
even believe
John's
that.
one of the greats. I'm not denying it, but don't tell me he's the GOAT. He's not.
Oh,
He ran from
he's
Francis. He ran from Aspinall. Ran from the two actual threats in the heavyweight division that could have absolutely flatlined him, and he didn't want to do it.
Actual threats. He fought the greatest heavyweight of all
Who
time.
was 40? 40!
Listen.
It was slow. It was a firefighter for 3 years.
I'm sorry.
Wasn't
I'm sorry.
training.
GSP came out of retirement for like 6
Fought
years, I
Bisping.
think it was. I
And
think
won.
around 40 and tapped him out. So it's like
Bisping wasn't 40. Bisping was like 30.
No.
34, 35.
GSP was like 40.
Yeah, he
No,
won.
no, GSP was up there. You
And
know?
he won the belt.
But I'm just saying, just because the guy's up there when we're dealing with that level of fighter like Stipe Miocic is, there's anytime that you beat those guys, that is something to be said.
Give
It's
me
not like
Mighty
you beat him
Mouse
at
over
60.
John Jones, too.
You don't even
I do.
name 5 Mighty Mouse's defenses for big
Ray
name
Borg.
guys.
Give me Ray Borg. Henry
Borg.
Cejudo.
I'll give you Cejudo.
That's 2.
Did he even beat Cejudo?
Yeah, well, no, he beat him the first time and then lost the rematch.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
So,
Cejudo
keep
is a
going.
freaking bad man too, man.
Okay, sure. I'll give you
That's the
Cejudo.
double
Go ahead.
champ.
But I'm not giving you. You're not getting Ray Borg. You got Cejudo. Go ahead.
I got Ray Borg. That's a
No,
title
yeah,
defense.
Ray
You
Borg.
said name me 5
Ray-
title defenses for Demetrius
I s-
Johnson. That's 5. That's 1.
All right, go ahead. I meant big names. Give me big names that Demetrius Johnson's taken
I
down.
think he beat Brandon Moreno.
Okay.
That's a big name. The problem is
That's a
the
big name.
flyweights aren't like big names, but he won 12 title
Exa-
defenses. 12 title
Listen,
defenses, 12
he's
title defenses.
Great, but you can't not be over John Jones with that list of resumes. Same thing with Habib. Habib's
No,
undefeated,
I'm not giving you.
but
Habib.
he's
I'm
beat
not gonna
like
give you
3 guys.
I'm not giving you Habib. I haven't given you.
I'm just saying. It's Demetrius Johnson's on the same level of Habib for me. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Top 10,
That's crazy.
absolutely.
That's
Not
crazy.
on the
This
Mount
crazy
Rushmore.
guy.
You know.
This crazy
So,
guy.
Well, listen.
But give me Ilya Taporia, maybe.
Okay.
The way
I
the
was just
momentum
gonna
he's
end,
going.
I was gonna
right
end
now.
us. I was gonna end that with that. And scale of 1 to 10. How impressed were you with that performance?
Let's just get right into this. This is Ant's BTA of the week. Ant's belt to ass. This was frankly, I'm putting it on the screen right now. That's how dominant this was. Look at this. I don't know if you guys can see this, but he jabs him and then hits him with a boom boom, and he just absolutely folds. Absolutely, that was crazy.
Carlos Oliveira is like the king of great fight, awful fight. Then like next fight, you should definitely
the
bet on him.
problem with Oliveira is like he just keeps his chin up too much. Like he tries to like go right into guys. Like he tries to bulldoze and keeps this and he attacks. But a guy like Ilya, who frankly I'm gonna say right now probably is the best boxer we've ever seen in the UFC. Just in terms of his hands.
We say that all the time. I don't know about that. But
Who
he can
all
make-
the time?
You're not gonna like this. Masvidal had some lethal hands, bro.
Stop.
I said what
Just
I said.
stop right now.
I said what I said.
No.
I said.
I'm not. I'll let you take that back if you need to. I'll let you take
No,
it back.
Masvidal, McGregor, like these are good.
McGregor
pure
might be
boxers.
the only one where I will concede.
Dude.
maybe.
Masvidal had absolute
Ilya
hands.
he knocked out with his hands, mind you, not with his feet,
Yep.
with his hands. Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Charles Oliveira, 3 straight fights.
So that's a run, buddy.
That's a run.
You know what?
Not
you
only
know who
knocked
went
them out.
you
but
know
put
who's
them
went
on
on-
their ass.
You know who's went on that kind of a dominant run? John Jones.
Was he knocking those guys out? He's going to decisions with those guys.
No, dude, he was winning those fights handedly. Chucky, I need you homework to look up Jones highlights, tune with them, but you need to see that, fellas. We've already gone longer than we probably should have. That's an episode, season 2. We're out here. Maybe we mix in a little MMA every now and then. You know,
Yeah.
we're gonna take it. Maybe we ride the Dente and listen to some NASCAR. Probably not. We'll see what happens here. Chucky, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's my fault. I don't have any really strong UFC takes. I didn't even know there was UFC this past weekend. Literally, I'm sitting in my room Saturday night or Sunday morning, I guess, at that point, and my friend who's in Ireland at the time texts, "Whoa, did you guys see that?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he was talking about the knockout. Was that Oliveira and
Oliveira and Topuria.
Topuria? Yeah. So I totally missed it. Watched the replay. But yeah, I watched that. I watched that John Jones Stipe fight. I had fun with that one. I don't know.
Dude, you want to see some? Go watch the John Jones highlights, Chucky. You will see the most lethal man ever to walk the damn planet. All right.
All right, I'll check it
So,
out.
Listen,
Brother.
shout out
It's
John
not
Jones. I
mine,
hope it's not the
Shepherd,
last
brother.
fight, but we'll
Hey,
see what happens.
I got one real quick NBA free agent update for you guys.
One more.
Please, something juicy. Something juicy.
Bruce Brown back with the Nuggets, which is kind of an underrated signing because he
Actually, no, that
played his
isn't
best
bad.
basketball there.
He did.
So that's pretty cool.
Whoa. Don't undersell Bruce Brown's Nets tenure. That was also another great aspect. of his
Amen,
career.
brother.
Hey, you know what's gonna be really good for him? He's gonna actually team up with another former Net who just got traded for peanuts on that Denver squad.
Hello. We might have to bring back Hello Brooklyn. We might have to.
No,
I think
no,
we might have to
dude,
bring
it's-
back that segment.
I think we should start calling it Goodbye Brooklyn.
God, what a brutal franchise. It's so bad.
Chucky, just remember, no matter how bad the Knicks piss you off, no matter how bad I want to throw the Lakers into the abyss, they are not the Nets, buddy.
4 firsts
They're
for Joe
just
Johnson.
not.
That was what projected. 4 firsts. We get
Yeah, and you
Michael
wasted
Porter
5
Jr.
in the first
and a
round for guys with no name
2032
value.
first. Get out of here, man.
Hey, at least OKC ended up getting a being. And Shay, who's going to be your future MVP?
Cam Thomas.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that, buddy.
Igor
And
Denham.
do you remember telling me on Ant and Mazz in the midday that the Nets had a brighter future than the Knicks?
I do.
After their
I
after
do
their
remember
first
telling
playoff
you
run?
that. I do remember telling you that. But I thought we were going to tank and actually get some freaking superstars, not Igor Denham from BYU. I was seeing Dylan Harper in my future. Cooper Flagg potentially. Nah, I get Igor Denham and Jacob Traore and Ben Serif
I'm sorry, man.
and whoever the
I'm
hell.
sorry.
Ben Wolf. Those are the guys
I
that we're.
think-
These are our guys. These are our
Can we
forever
get a
guys.
You know what? Because we don't have, definitely much news that's going to be coming in like the upcoming weeks, just, a little baseball action, Can we put you on assignment on how you would fix the Brooklyn Nets for next episode?
That's gonna be tough. You have to give me like 25 years of life to do that.
I'll give you within a 5-year span
Yeah, that's
to
not
get back on
happening.
track.
It's just not happening. You just trade away. If you trade away all your assets for nothing, you can't trade away anything else. So I don't know what you want me to get. There's nothing. There's nothing left. We stripped ourselves bare and got nothing.
Well, speaking of nothing left, fellas, I got nothing left to talk about. We'll see you next.
You have been listening to the Mazz and Bad Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.